How about this? Beer and wine going to be now available at Rutgers games starting this fall. The Rutgers Athletic Department announced today that alcohol will be sold at certain sports games at High Point Stadium, including football, men's lacrosse, and women's lacrosse. And at Rutgers Athletic Center, men and women's basketball, wrestling, and some gymnastics events. At Yersack Field, men's and women's soccer, and also at baseball and softball games. Right now, there are 51 football stadiums out of 129 football programs similar in size to Rutgers that do allow the sale of alcohol to the general public during games. All right, let's bring in our A-plus panel for tonight to talk about it. We are joined by Matt Rooney, who is a Republican strategist and editor, publisher of the Save Jersey blog. Good to see you, Matt.
Great to be here.
And Bill Caruso, attorney and Democratic strategist. Good to see you, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Where do you start with this? Matt, I'll start with you. It seems to me, I have mixed feelings about this. On one hand, we have this issue of binge drinking on campus, and you've got, if you are encouraging your student population to go, you've got a majority of people who are under the legal drinking age. Good idea or not?
Well, you hit on the problem right there, Bill. Whoever thought it was a good idea to have half of our campuses be sober and half of them not wasn't thinking. It was always a bad idea. And it furthered this trend in our culture where kids aren't learning how to be responsible in many ways, but especially with alcohol. My instinct is to say, hey, listen, if Rutgers sells a bunch of booze and needs a little less state aid, that's great for my tax dollars, but the problems are easy to foresee.
Well, you're talking about an unbelievable amount of money, state aid. Talking about almost $1 billion. It's a quarter of their budget coming from the taxpayer.
Do either of you think there's going to be a reduction in state aid? I mean, come on. Listen, this idea is troubling. We do have some real issues related to binge drinking on campus. We've covered issues on this program about this, and this sends the wrong message. Listen, if you're an alumni or you're a student of age, you should drink the way that most people do prior to the game. You go out and tailgate, you smuggle something in a flask or something else. That's the way you go watch a college football game.
On one hand, to me, if you lower the drinking age, we've had this conversation on this show many times, if you lowered the drinking age to 18 and you had kids that learned responsible drinking, by the time they get to college, they're not kids as much as they are adults in class. Big difference.
That horse left the barn eons ago. It's too hard to repack that. And listen, if we want to go down that path, and I agree with you on that, that's a conversation worth having. But Rutgers, solely on a money grab here, deciding to add alcohol into these venues, I just don't think it's a smart play.
There are issues with professional sports fans. How do we think this is not going to potentially lead to out-of-control behavior at the college level?
Let people drink if they're of age, and if you misbehave, evict them from the school if you're a student. Crack down on the people that aren't responsible, and maybe we can begin to teach this generation how to act.
Where have I heard this before? Enforce the laws we already have.
There you go. It's
Imagine.
easy.
How about it?
All right. Thanks, guys.